I thought we gave ourselves every opportunity. Against a really good team, to be able to have the effort we did, I was really proud of that. I suppose +8 or 9 inside 50s, we just didn't finish off our work at times, which was, normally we've been pretty good in that area. But yeah, really sort of proud of the way we started. Probably in the third, they got a hold of us through a bit of contested ball and beat us up around the ball a little bit. And then, to fight back was really pleasing. So, we'd love to have won, but still areas we need to work on.
In terms of some of that execution that maybe wasn't quite there tonight, a few targets, missed a few kind of opportunities spraying, does that, a combination of that come down to anything in particular? Because it felt like there was a lot of that when, as you said, the effort was so good tonight.
Yeah, it was. And I think it sort of varies between entries inside 50, where do you kick them from slow play, fast play, do we use the numbers a little bit more, do we hit up all the time, do we lower our eyes? So there's a couple of methods that we're a bit inconsistent, and that's an area we need to continually work on. I think, for most part, to be able to get the repeat entries we had when you have 21 to 12, the ability to win the ball back and go back inside 50 was a lot different to last week. So I think from there, now we have to work at an effort or ability to be able to score from those entries instead.
It felt like Joel Hamling's club debut provided a bit more structure to the defence as well. He was really solid down there and looked like he enjoyed that first taste of Swans footy.
Yeah, he did. And one thing I said to the players is, with Joel, we got him here for a reason, to play defence the way he did tonight. And, unfortunately for him, he didn't get that opportunity until tonight. So he's been here for a period of time, and the patience and resilience to be ready when that opportunity came, and he took that opportunity. So you talk about the last quarter, we lose a couple of centre bounces and they go straight in, he takes a contested mark and diffuses the pressure. So he played his role really well.
And so is his inclusion, as it seems, to allow Tom McCartan to continue playing forward and I guess release Nick Blakey out of defence a bit more? What's the thinking?
Yeah, a bit of both. I think the ability for Nick, he's played on some tools for the first part of the season and still rebounded really well. The thing we want from him is we want him to defend first before he gets involved in the ball movement chains. So, that's always the balancing act of that. And then, Tommy started really well. And the difference between open space leading and engaging your player, when you're talking about Harris Andrews and the like that match up on him, you've just got to provide a contest, and that's all we ask, and provide outlets for our players when they come out of the back half. So he's there, and then he goes back as well. So, and that's the luxury of having Tom in the team at both ends. And it'll be horses for courses as we go throughout the year.
What was the thinking behind swinging him back for a bit in that last quarter? Was that just to try and stop some of that momentum that Brisbane had?
Yeah, a little bit, and then one of our players was a bit sore, so. That's the option to be able to do that. And he knows defensive systems, he knows the craft. So throughout a game, whether he's starting back, I'll swing him forward, or vice versa, like tonight.
I guess that begs the question, though, what was the thinking in the third term when the Lions were on top, and I think they kicked 6 in that quarter to a couple. So, with Tommy perhaps being as a proven performer in defence there, what were we thinking there?
Yeah, it was, the third quarter was more about what happened around the ball. Obviously they gained some real ascendancy through that, and our ability to stop that. And I suppose in the last probably 7 or 8 minutes we arrested a bit of that momentum. But it's a collective that actually get the job done. And Tommy's one that if he does go back, at some stage he'll hold up the fort for us.
Did the players say much about the conditions out there? Obviously there was quite a few drop marks that looked like simple ones that maybe the ball was a bit dewy or wet, whatever it might be. What did they kind of say about how hot it was out there and what the conditions were like?
Yeah, it was hot early. I think that every time they touched it, everyone was sweating so much it went straight through a lot of their hands. So, and then that's part of that's about fundamentals in those conditions, because at times Brisbane are really clean. So and they're a team that you aspire to be like. If you're a young player coming into the competition, they are the benchmark, and they showed why in those conditions, why they're so tough to handle.
Riley Bice made a pretty strong impact in his AFL debut as well. Obviously, he's had to wait 6 or 7 years for an AFL list, had to wait another couple of quarters tonight, but he looked like he really was enjoying it out there when he got a chance.
Yeah, and I think that's the good thing about AFL footy is no one says there's similar start dates, and what Riley had to do from being, country footy to having a chance from Feb, starting pre-season at Werribee, to building through the season to get on an AFL list. And, I think by his own admission, he wouldn't have thought he'd be playing our second game of the season. And what he's done is, you're exactly right. He provided some real bounce for us. He was strong in the contest and defended when he had to do. And that was part of his messaging pre-game. And, he stood up really well. So I was really proud of what he was able to do through that period and to get to here, and then also what he did tonight.
One of the changes from the last time he played, obviously, was the Lions weren't able to hold the ball, move the ball quite as easily as 6 months ago. So can you talk us through the changes that you've made and with the view to, I guess, dealing with that sort of game plan over the off-season to come to today?
Yeah, I think we're well aware of the way that Brisbane wanted to play. They haven't sort of changed that, and they did it against Adelaide in the pre-season game that they played. So, it was a really strong focus for us is to try and restrict them controlling the ball. When you restrict them from controlling the ball, they put it in the contest a little bit more, and that's the next part we need to get right. So, the first part has been a work over pre-season and the ability to be able to make sure that they can't control the footy. So that was pleasing for our players to get the reward for effort they put over the pre-season. But now it's just about trying to tweak those fundamentals and sticking to our process. That's what we've got to focus on going forward.
Obviously, it's a tough trip to Freo next week as well. Is there,
Yep.
that's a pretty long injury list at the moment, is there anyone that you're hoping might be able to be back for that one?
No, I think we had a few that played. Hayden McLean was one that played his first full minutes, unrestricted today, in a practice game against the Giants. So, obviously Angus Sheldrick went back and performed really well. Pete Laddams is an opportunity as well. So, I've always been along the philosophy of, someone will step in and someone will fill the void. And we had two players who did that tonight really well.
Are you looking for a bit of a different look around the contest? You've mentioned that a few times just here. Perhaps if that's a different player coming in or maybe a positional switch?
Yeah, maybe. I think that's something we'll look at throughout the week, and I think, their ability as a collective, and that's not just through the middle part of the ground, but, if you talk about their high half forwards, Rayner and them, they are really strong-bodied players. Zach Bailey. So, we cut out one. I thought James Jordan did an unbelievable job on Lachie Neale. To keep him to 10 touches and 2 clearances is phenomenal. I think most sides are happy if it's 20, 25. So the balance, we need to do that, but it's also the periphery as well that we need to sort out. So, there's still plenty of work to do.
Do you feel pretty optimistic, though, even though you're 0-2 and, coming up with pretty bruising grand final defeat? You've got a lot out in terms of talent and a fair bit's going right. Like, you haven't lost these 2 games by much. Yeah,
and I think exactly right. I think one thing that we're still aware of is that when we play our best footy, we're as good as any team in the comp. And we've shown that against 2 of the best teams in the comp. So, for us, we've just got to make sure that we do it for longer. We've had periods where we've let ourselves down and had little lapses through that give momentum to the opposition. So, I'm extremely confident where this playing group can go in the short term.
Couple more. I was going to ask, was that sort of similar message to the guys? How do you sort of what's the move on? How do you make sure morale doesn't dip, that they don't start looking at the ladder and fearing zipping through and whatnot?
Yeah, I think you can only sort of stick to what you know, and that's look one game in front of you, and the review will be continually about how we can improve our game collectively, and that won't change. It didn't change from when we played our practice games to last week to Monday when we get back to the footy club. I think the players, like everyone, is disappointed. Our fans, I'm disappointed. I'd like to be in a better position, but, this group's really confident that it'll turn very quickly.
And just quickly for yourself, we saw you come down to the dugout for kind of a bit in the second quarter onwards.
Yep.
Different look at the game. How did you find that being down there for it?
You're different, and I'm sort of not fixed with where I sit as well. You know, I think I'll try and make decisions to where the team needs me, and you know, in the box to be able to make decisions and pull and make some moves compared to actually getting amongst the players. You know, and when sides get run-ons, I'd like to be down there and speak to them and talk to how they're feeling, what's going on, what state of game are they in, and try and help them through that. So. Yeah, I decided to come down, went back up, and when they got a bit of a run on, thought I better come back down again. So, yeah, that won't change throughout the year either.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you very much.